Hello to my contemporary math online students. This is your instructor, Sherri Clowe, and I am going to give you an example core curriculum assignment problem today. It is based on the information contained in section 8.7 of our textbook for this course. This is an assignment where you will print the associated document that is going to be sent to you, and also be sure to print the document that's associated with this video, as you will need it to go through this video and actually do your calculations and see what's going to be required of you in this assignment. This assignment is something that you are going to complete and bring with you to the take your written exam number 2, which is due fairly soon. It's in about 3 or 4 weeks. So I wanted you to have this example that I'm doing now. The actual assignment is a different problem that you'll be working. It does not have the answers that we will produce on this video. It'll be totally a different problem as far as numbers go, but it'll be very similar in the way that it is set up. So that's why I wanted to give you an example. I wanted to go over the instructions. You will print this page, and you will also print the other page that is the actual assignment that you'll be bringing when you come to take your written exam number 2 to turn in. I want you to work the problems by hand, and I want you to show your steps, because it is very important for me to see your working process. When you're asked to give a reasoning or draw conclusions, I want you to be sure to answer in complete sentences, and it's important that you use correct spelling, grammar, and punctuation, because that is a requirement of being a college graduate. Now, here's the problem for this particular example. The price of the new home is $142,000. The bank requires a 10% down payment and 2 points at the time of closing. The cost of the home is financed with a 30-year fixed rate mortgage at 3.75%. Now, the most important thing you need to remember is that whenever they give you 3.75%, it is really 0.0375. That is going to be the decimal that you use for the rate later on. Okay, the required down payment is 10%. So you're going to take $142,000 and multiply it times 10%. Now, when I did that on my calculator, I got $14,200. So that's your answer for your down payment. Now, to find the amount of the mortgage, you're going to take $142,000 and you're going to subtract the down payment that you're going to give to the bank. And that's going to give you $127,800 that you're actually going to have to finance as your mortgage. Now, how much of this must be paid for the 2 points at closing? A point is 1% of what you're borrowing. So if you're going to pay 2 points, you need to pay basically 2%, which would be $127,800 times 0.02. And when I multiplied that on my calculator, I got $2,556. So that answer is for part C of part 1. Okay, finding the monthly payment. This is where you really need some help with the calculator, and in a second I'm going to actually go to the calculator and show you how to figure this out. Okay, so for finding the monthly payment, you're going to use the formula PMT equals P times R over N in the numerator, and in the denominator you're going to have 1 minus 1 plus the rate over N to the negative NT power. So all of that needs to be filled in appropriately. That would be 127,800 times. My rate is 0.0375. And N is 12, because we always do our mortgage payments in 12 payments per year, 1 payment per month. Since there's 12 months in a year, you make 12 payments per year. So N is 12. In the denominator, it'll be 1 minus 1 plus 0.0375 divided by 12 over negative. Now, or raised to the negative NT power. N is 12, and our time is 30 years. So you need to be sure to put 12 times 30 there. Now, in my mind, I go ahead and multiply that out. That is 360. So it's a negative 360 exponent right there. This calculation is very tricky. What I always do is I will figure out what the numerator is first on my calculator, and I will write that down. Then for the denominator, I'm going to start by figuring out this decimal. Then I will add the 1. Then I will raise it to the exponent, and then I will subtract it from 1. This seems to be the only way that I have been able to get this to work out correctly. So if you will bear with me, I'm going to switch over to the calculator now so that I can show you how to do this on your calculator. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is take the 127,800, and we're now going, oops, I need to clear that. I need to get back to our regular screen here. Okay, 127,800. Now, I'm going to multiply that times parentheses 0.0375, and that needs to be divided by 12. So notice I put the 0.0375 divided by 12 in parentheses. I need to close my parentheses and hit enter. Okay, that gave me 399.375, and that's what I'm going to put into the numerator. So 399.375 is the numerator for this fraction. Now I'm going to go back to my calculator. This denominator is the tricky part. I always start with 0.0375. I divide that by 12, and then I hit enter. That is your decimal for that fraction. Now I'm going to add that to 1 to get the 1.003125. That is that parentheses in the denominator, and I'm going to raise that by hitting this housetop key to the negative, and notice you need to hit the negative that's down at the bottom of your calculator, 360 power. Okay, so the answer is going to be raised to the negative 360th power, and I press enter. Now, here's the tricky part. This huge decimal needs to be subtracted from 1. So I do 1 minus second answer. This little answer thing down there. Oh, darn, I just ruined myself here. I should never do that. Okay, so there we go. That worked. 1 minus the answer, and press enter. Okay, this is your denominator, 0.674777548. I always write that down as the, see if I can get over to my PowerPoint here. There we go. I write this big decimal down, 0.674777548. This is the decimal that I get when I do this calculation. So now I'm going to go back to my calculator and finish doing this problem. Okay, so now that I have this in memory, 0.674777548, I'm going to take 399.375, and I'm going to divide that by what's in memory. So I'm going to hit second answer, and that will give me the division of the 399.375 by the 0.674777548. And that is our payment of $591.80.861. Now, I'm going to round that up to the nearest cent, because when you owe money to the bank, you never round down. The bank always makes sure that it gets its money. So the bank never rounds down. It always rounds up to the nearest penny. So it's going to be $591.87. So here we go. Our answer for our payment per month is $591.87. All right. Now, how do we find the total cost of interest over 30 years? Well, that's where we take our monthly payment $591.87. We multiply that times the 12 payments every year times the 30 years, and that was equal to $213,073.20. Now I'm going to subtract the amount of the mortgage, that's $127,800. And when you subtract that, you get, sorry, I have to come way over here, $85,273.20. So this is the amount of interest that we are paying over the 30 years. Now, because I've already gone 10 minutes and I can't go over 15 minutes, I'm going to stop this one and I'm going to start a second video recording to cover the last part of this assignment or this example problem.